All right, this is movie 2 on the face. It's actually the third movie, and this is exactly where I left off, except I've gone ahead and added some more painting, or what I call underpainting, to the image. Now what I want to do is bring up the QuickTime file, which is right here. See, this is the QuickTime movie that you're watching right now, and or you just did watch. And what I'm going to do is build from this point right here, but I'm not going to paint everything. It would take too long because I want to get this done efficiently. So I'll minimize this. So what I want to do, and I don't know why the movie's turning out a little bit redder, but that's okay, is show you that I've added these layers, and I'm going to take it back down to the layers where it's just above the nose. So here is the dark for the nose that you and I just finished together on the screen. Now, what I did was, let me bring the clicky copy back down so I can keep on moving it up, okay? I noticed on the clicky copy now, if you remove these eyes from even being there, look behind the eyes, look behind the eyebrows, look behind the mouth, okay? We need, and I'm going to start at the bottom. See this darkness that's under the mouth? We need that. Don't worry about the texture. We'll get that in a little while, either on this movie or the final movie. And I have already gone through and done a little bit more on the cleft, which is the little area between his lips, and I'm going to now continue. So I see, by me going back and forth here, that I need more darkness behind the eyes, and I don't even have the eye creases in. So if I move in, you see, and let me try to get as much on the screen as I possibly can. You see how there's the eye creases. Okay, so what I did was I used my series of, and I'm going to have to expand that back out. See my series of paths that I used for the eye creases? I just painted them, then I Gaussian blurred them, then I removed them, of course, on a layer mask. I also used this for that shadow area on the nose. I beefed up the nostril here. Do you see how I beefed up the nostril when I convert that into a selection? I'm sorry. And now you can see how that's how I did the separation from the upper lip and the lower lip. Okay, let me deselect and click back on that. So that's what you're going to see me use when I go through from this shape. Let me back off on the picture and dimension, and let me get out of the crop tool. I don't know why I was in the crop tool. And now you see how I have the highlight areas on the face. Okay, I'm going to keep that there. I'm going to turn this off just for a quick second. Okay, so here's what I did. I'm going to turn that off just for a quick second, and I'm going to go back to this solid fill layer. You see how if I go into the solid fill layer, I had, and into the face, because I always duplicate everything, here's the highlights. See how I just filled them? Okay, I'll duplicate that. Now I have two of them. I'll bring one up into the face that I'm working on, which is going to be somewhere up here, and I'll put it up there near the top. Face darks, layer 25, highlight, I don't know where I put it. So I'm going to put this up at the top of that path. I'm going to put the highlight copy right next to it. And so I just have it when we're going to use it. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to turn off the solid fills folder and collapse it, and I'll turn back on the one that I was doing, the solid fills copy, because I always keep my master up here. You can see this is the master one, this is the copy one. Okay, I'm going to turn off the clicky copy. So, and I'm going to deselect away. Remember, to deselect away from a path, you need to hold the Command or Control key on a PC, Command on a Mac, and just click it. And then you can turn off the path or on the path. If you Command click the icon, it turns into a selection. If you click on the path and then Command click on to the right of the name, it just turns off the path. It's a nice quick way to do it. So now I'm going to keep on going. So you can see now how those were the highlights. There's the nose. There's the final darks on the face. There's my overall mouth shape. So look at how that matches up to the mouth. It's not that big a deal. Now what I did was I separated that, and you see how now I have the bottom lip? And then if I go back up here, I actually have the little crack between the darkness between the upper and the lower lip. Okay, let's go back down. So now I have the mouth here. Now I have the little area that I needed to get that little section in for the mouth. Now I'm going up for, and look at this, That's just for the whites of the eyes. Okay, and I call them also the tears, which is the tear ducts. There's the iris for the eyes. You see that? There's the circle for the eyes. Now you know that I can command click on the eye whites, command option shift or control alt shift, intersect the color of the eyes. I call them the iris, right? And now I get that section there without having that big circle on top. So the four properties, intersect, exclude, add, and subtract, they play a game. They play a role every single time. There's the little pupils for the eyes, okay, and then there's my eye shine right there. So now that's how I went ahead and drew everything. Okay, I even have the mouth dark. You see how I had to draw that on a separate path because everything else was intersecting it. So I just painted it hard. So now this is a little bit of the lower lip that I needed. I obviously drew because I needed it. All right, and now there's just the nose darks that I used possibly, and there's the nose shadow that I used right there. I just wanted you to see everything so that I don't have to go back to it in a second, and I can show you that here are the layers now as I painted them. All right, there is, and I'm going to click on the clicky copy on and off. See how I darken the areas behind the eyes. Practically free-handed it. But I used that, if I can find it real fast, I used that section right here. Now, all I did was Gaussian blur that, right? That was something I did right at the beginning. And I just Gaussian blurred that. So let me hold the Command or Control key, turn that off. Okay, the next section comes in, and you can see that's the darkness around the nose. I'll click this on and off. I know that I needed more darkness. So again, I painted this hard, just Gaussian blurred it, and look at the layer mask. I removed what I needed to remove on the layer mask. Now, I don't know if you know this, but you can, if I haven't said this before, you can Alt or Option click a layer mask, and you can see exactly what color, what black and white are on the layer mask. So just so you know, that's called isolation, and you can isolate a layer mask. All right, I'm still at this little section, and I don't want to do this for every single shape, but let me find that shape, and you can see right there, that's how I painted that dark. And then I just painted it dark brown and just Gaussian blurred it, right? And just removed it on a layer mask. It was kind of stupidly simple. So let me just Command click on that. Next one that comes in is the thing that I told you, which was the creases above the eyes. Now you can see how it's starting to look good, but you know, you're still going to be saying to yourself when you do it, wow, this is like not looking good. Don't trust what your mind is telling you. Trust the process. Okay, if you trust the process and build up to it with smaller layers on top, you're going to be okay. Now, there is the highlight. So I'm going to bring this highlight down. Here is the highlight right there, but it's blurred now. See, it's blurred. So I'm going to bring this highlight copy down just so I can show you, well, that's what it did look like. Now, all I have to do is add a layer mask eventually, but I'm going to click to the image part of that layer. And let's blur it. Let's blur it to a point where it's reasonable. Now, reasonable on those is quite a lot, like 30, 35, 40. Look at that is where I want it to be, probably 40, 45. Now, look, I almost don't need to do anything, but this is what I did on it. Okay, so you can see how I painted it. Now, this is what I'm going to do. Hope it doesn't make you nervous, but I'm going to turn on the one I did paint. I'm going to click on the layer mask, and I'm going to Option or Alt click on it to show you that I thinned down and knocked, when I say knocked back, I mean reduce the intensity of the highlights. So now I'm going to click to the highlight that I just did. Now I want you to see something. Watch how I can transfer or copy. If I hold the Option key, I'm going to remove this layer mask right here just for a second. Okay, there's two ways I can do this. I probably should show you both ways. I can Option click on it, Command A to select all or Control A, Control C or Command C to copy. click to the other layer mask. Okay, click to the other layer mask, and I was thinking there, and Control V, paste it. Now that should have pasted in. And I'm not exactly sure why that didn't paste in. Let me go back down and see why that didn't paste in. So I'm missing a step. So Command C to copy that layer mask. There's an easier way. I'll do it. And I don't care about making a mistake in front of you. That's fine. That's what life's all about, right? Now I've isolated the layer mask right now, and Control V. Now that should be painting. Let me deselect the selection and Control V paste. No, I don't know why it's not, but it's okay, because I'm going to delete the layer mask. It should be working. If I hold Alt or Option, I can just drag it up into there. And that's what I did. That's the simple way. Hold Alt or Option and drag a mask you want from one layer to another, and you got it. I just needed to get rid of that first one. Okay, so now I have the highlights. Look, it's the same thing. See? Same thing. So now, and I also, let me see. Let me click on that layer, knocked the opacity back. I keep on saying knock. I reduced the opacity to 55%. That's why this one is not as intense as that one, because I actually used opacity, not fill, to reduce it. I won't say knocked it back. Now, here's the next one that goes in. So you can see now how I have darkness around that side of the eye. See how I'm turning that off and on? Right there. See how I can see that I need that? I'll turn this off. Now I'll click it on and off, and I'll say, oh, right in this area right here, I need more dark. So all I did was put a layer in. So now I have that layer. Now let's go here, and you can see how I even darken that part of that face. And now I have even more dark on the face. And now I have even more dark on the ears. Now when I click this back off and on, that looks pretty good. Now I also went in and did the neck. You see by the neck, I have the neck shape right here, where I can actually paint within that shape. Okay, so I had the face. Remember, I had the face. So I can make a selection of the face, all the skin that showed. Now I can intersect it with this face shape 3, which is the neck shape, and I can isolate that. Now that's how I painted this following next shape. So I deselected it. But and I don't want to go down there, but it was just a dark brown shape. That's all it was. Okay, so I actually went in, and let me see where I put that. Oh, it's down here. Okay, so I put the neck in here. I actually have it, but I'm going to turn it on. Okay, so I'm going to deselect. I need to show you two things. I'm going to disable the layer mask. And I'm also going to just show you it's a solid fill. And all I did was put a little bit of paint on this part of it to knock it away. Now, what I also needed was, you see this darkness, this edge that's showing up? That's why I put this in there. I put it in there so it didn't show. There's also something else I'm not having on, and I need to have it on. And I'm missing something. So that one, the lower face dark, I think I should reduce that opacity a little bit. There, that looks good. Now let me look at it with the face on. Oh, you know what? It needed to not have the opacity knocked back. So let me see where I had that shape. Right here. I'm going to put it back up to here. And that's not bad right now. Okay, that's good. Now I'm going to click it back and forth. And you can see just how good this looks so far. Okay? Now, I probably put the mouth darks on the mouth layer. So, just to try to stay organized here. Okay? So I'm going to put the clicky copy up a little higher. Now let's start in on the texture. I also darkened a little bit of the nose. And it took me that many layers to do it. 1, 2, 3. I just wanted subtle darks on the nose to match this. Now, see, I'm starting to get into the detail that matters. Now let's go into the mouth. So I'll open up the mouth layer, and I'll remove, that's as many layers on the mouth. I didn't actually, oh yeah, that's the dark on the face. Well, I actually should have had this layer on the skin layer, but it's okay. I didn't, it's all right. Let's just go back down. So now let me move this all the way down. So now let's zoom in. So what I did was I painted the mouth and I Gaussian blurred it. So let me turn this off. It's just a solid mouth color. Okay, that's all I did. And I need to turn that off. So basically that's all I did was paint this pink. And that pink matched the overall color of not the intense red, but the middle value. So I just painted it. Okay, I'm going to turn on the little mouth layer here so we can keep on seeing it. All right, isn't that kind of neat that now we can watch this thing grow? Meaning, if I start here, you can see how I darkened around the mouth. You can see how I added that around the mouth. I'll actually go back to the clicky copy and show you that. See that? Now, I'm going to show you how I actually, look over here in the channel, I'm going to show you how I actually got, I'm going to find it, the lip texture. Oh, it's right there. I called it mouth. Okay, so I'm going to now click to these so you can see it. There is the channel, what is a channel? That's like what you're seeing. It's just a selection that I've saved. And what's white is going to turn out to be the paint. What's black isn't going to be the paint. And what's gray, some paint is going to go on there. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, and I'll re-get this for you. I'll show you how I get this. So I'm going to click back to the RGB image and we can go ahead. Okay, so let me turn off the clicky copy and keep on going. All right, so now look at how I darken the top lip. Still doesn't look good, right? Look at how I added a little pink right there. Still doesn't look good, right? Now, look at how I added a little bit more red to keep it rolling over towards you on the bottom lip. Now, this was texture, so I'm going to say T1 for texture. Let me now put on the next one. Okay, that was the darkness on the top. That was the line, that was the darkness right inside of there. And I'm going to redo the texture in a minute. That was a little bit of dark so that I could intensify where the creases of the mouth on each side go. Didn't say this was easy. I just said that's what it takes. And I even called it sides. Now here are the mouth highlights. So this is T2. Now I'm going to show you how to get these. Okay, so I'm going to put a layer right above it. And I'm going to call it T2 copy. Just be patient with me. And I'm going to put a layer above T1 and I'm going to put T1 copy. And save the file because I want to show you how I got those. Okay. Now let's go to the upper texture. Now the upper texture was my third texture. So this is going to be, I'll just go like this, upper texture T3. I probably don't have to do that one now, but I'm going to turn it off. There's the darkness for the side of the face. There's a little bit more darkness. See how that really sets that lip in there? Now I'm done with it, except it doesn't look very good, right? Well, this is what it looks like with the texture there, which was the T1 texture on the darks. Here's the T2 texture on the highlights, and whoa, that looks pretty good. Now there's the T3 texture for the top. All right, let's re-get those so you can see. Actually, I'll just get those. Okay, so now, how do you get texture? Okay, you have to be on the clicky copy. I'm going to find the mouth right over here. See the mouth? Right there. Now, I want to isolate the bottom lip. I want to make sure that actually, I'll just take the whole mouth. So I make a selection of the mouth area. Am I clicked onto the clicky copy? Yes. I'll zoom in. I go up to select, color range, I zoom in, and I get this pixel right there. Now watch this picture right there. I get that pixel right there. Now, if I put it on about 60, which is about halfway, and what does that mean? Again, I think I've explained this before, but the lower the number, the closer it's only going to grab this color pixel. The higher the number, it's going to let a little bit of leeway on the value. Okay, so if that's a 0% white, then it'll let me get the 10, the 15, the 20% pinks. You You understand? Okay. So I'm going to say okay. Now I have a selection. Now I'm going to back off on that. Look at how it's only in the mouth area because I only asked the mouth area to be recognized in color range. How did I do that? I made a selection of the mouth area. Okay, I'm not going to redo it, but I am going to save this as extra highlight mouth. So I save selection right where I went to, and I'll just say extra. Highlight for mouth. Now, I know it's white, so I'm going to leave it selected, but I'm going to hit Command H. Good. I'm going to hit the B key, and I want you to know something, that I just used color range to grab this color in the foreground color. So I'm going to click that color and make it a little bit brighter. Remember I always said I was going to do that? Okay, now let's turn this off. Now let's go back down to this copy that I made for this one right here. So I'm going to click on the T2 copy. I'm going to make my brush bigger. Now what am I painting at? 8% on the flow with a soft brush. Now watch what happens. I just paint the highlight in there. There it is. Simple as pie. Now if I don't like how hard I made it, I'm going to deselect, add a layer mask, put my brush smaller, paint a little black, so I had to hit the X key. And look, I can actually diminish by painting black on the highlight part. And look at how pretty that is. Now what I want is I want to get these darks that are inside here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. And I don't know if I actually did that. Let me see. No, that was my T1. Let me see what my T1 is. Yes, that's exactly what I did. So I'm going to go to the I'm going to turn on the clicky copy. So let's get that color from the clicky copy. Got it? So I clicked to it. Okay. Make a selection of the mouth. It's imperative that you do that so that color range only concentrates on the mouth area. Now let's go to color range. Let's zoom in so we can really get that pixel, and I want that pixel. And I'm going to put it down a little bit like this. There. Now, I'm going to click OK. Now, do you see how color range got that selection? Now, I'm going to save it so I don't lose it. Now, I'm going to go to Save Selection as lower lip red texture. Sorry, I just needed to name it something. And I should say extra, but I'm okay. I'll just put an X in there. Extra. Okay. Now I'll say okay. Now remember how color range allowed me to use the eyedropper automatically? Well, there's the color. Now what am I going to do with that? Am I going to leave it alone or make it darker? I've already answered the question. I made it darker, but not too much. Now I'm going to hit Command H. I'm going to go to here, about that big. I want you to see, because when I turn the clicky copy off, there is no texture. So now let me go down and paint on the correct layer. Here's the T1 copy. And now I'm going to take it, and I want you to see it going on there, if I can. Now, look how that color, look how that texture is going on there. And that imperfect texture is what it's all about. That imperfect texture is everything. Now, let me see if it did go on there. Yes, it did. And I'm good. I'm good to go. Now let me see how I got it that way. Okay, I actually went a little bit darker with it. So if I go darker with it, just a pinch darker, I think I'll see it better. I'm on the T1 copy. Yes, that's good. Now let's go turn on the upper lip texture. And all I did to get the upper lip texture was do the same thing. Maybe I should actually do that with you. So I'll just put in here T3 copy. And this is how patient you can be. So let me hit the return key. What do I have to do? Click on the clicky copy, turn it on. Make a selection of the mouth. Okay. Enter what you want. Go in, grab that dark pixel right there, a little bit darker right there, and now I'll give it a little bit more leeway. And now I'll make the color is plenty dark enough, I think. Now, I need to turn off the clicky copy, go back down to my T3 copy layer, hit Command H, right? Because I want to see what I'm painting. Now I'll go in and you can see how now I'm adding that texture on the top lip. And it's just so amazing that that's how you can paint, that that's actually what's going to work. And let me turn this off now here, this copy. Now we have a fairly decent lip. Now wait till the texture of the face gets in there and we'll do a good job. Now I did the same thing on the eyes. So you remember how I had the whites of the eyes and I had the pupils, right? Okay, so now let's turn on the eyes. But now let's go into the eyes. Let me close the mouth. And let me turn off all the layers. And let's just talk about it. I'm going to try just to talk about it. So I'm going to, how do I turn off these paths? I command click on it. Okay, so let's go take the whites of the eyes. Yep, that's the very first one. Why? Because it's the biggest shape. So when I let me put the clicky copy down here so I can keep on turning it off and on. There's the whites of the eyes. Okay, looks a little bit too harsh, so I knocked it back a little bit. Now that looks weird, right? Except when I go here, which is the first color of the eyes. Now I actually go and grab the color ranges. So you can see how I grabbed, let me zoom in. You can see how, and let me put, whoops. Let me put the eyes in there. Okay, so now I have the eyes right here. Okay, so we can kind of see this grow. Let me move the paths over. Okay, so now you should be able to see this grow. Again, I'll click this off and on. See how I now have the brown. Okay, it's looking pretty weird still, right? Here is the next one. Oh, still kind of weird. Here's the pupils. Oh, wait a minute. That's not looking too bad. Here's the iris darks. Whoa, that looks pretty cool. Here's the lashes. So all I did was grab the lashes with color range and I Gaussian blurred it by 1 pixel. Did you hear what I said? I actually color ranged the lashes and I Gaussian blurred them by 1 pixel. There's the pupil shine. Now let me move the clicky copy up and out. And here is the outer right eye, a little bit more dark, and the left eye. Now there are my eyes. Now, I didn't say this was a perfect image. I didn't say that I was completely, it's not like the one that I painted that took 22 movies, but this is a beautiful painting. It's actually working very well. Now, what I want to do is do I want to do the face texture. So I am actually let me find my face texture. There it is, right there. Now, let me show you how I have several pieces of texture. So what I did was, let me turn them all off. Now what I should do is turn off the actual other skin. Let me see if I can do that. Face. I'm going to take the texture, watch this, and I'm going to put it up above the face because I want to do something. I want to turn off the face, the mouth, the eyes, and I actually want to turn off the fill here, and I want to show you the texture layers. So here's the first texture layer. The first texture layer was simply the value that was right next to it. Now you can see it. Now how did I get that? I again went to what? What did I turn on? I went to the clicky copy. I actually made a selection of the overall inside of the face. See that? I'm selected on it. Now if I want this texture right here, this pink texture right there, or the light texture, I simply ask color range to grab it. So now I'll grab this pink texture and I'll move this down to about that much, and look, I've got all that glorious texture to be painted in the color that's in the foreground color. So all you have to do, look at that amazing texture. Okay, so what I did was I painted that on that layer right there. So if I turn off the clicky copy, see this? And I put a new layer above here, right there, and I hit Command H, I'm going to hit Option Delete and let you see that texture. Now that's pretty cool. I mean, that's pretty amazing. But I do also want you to know that I turned down that texture's opacity to about 40, just so it was barely there. Okay, here's the next one. Now the next one was just a little bit of texture on this side over here. The next one went in and was a darker texture. You can see that I grabbed darker pixels. Can you see them right there? Now all I did to do that was turn on the clicky copy and then I color ranged that dark texture. I think you can do it now. Now let me turn this off. Let me zoom in a little bit. Here's the next texture. It was even a darker texture. That one is at 41%. This one's at 24%. I'm going to put this back up at 100%, the one that I just told you about. And I'm going to let you see just how way too intense that was. Now if I Command Z back, you can see almost no texture that you grab off of color range is going to be at 100% because that'd be too powerful. You just have to knock it back, reduce it, reduce it. Now let's put in this and this and this, and you can see that that's got a beautiful amount of texture. But, here's the but, it needs the face painting with it. Now look at the imperfections that are in the skin. If I turn off the texture layer, layers, folder, you can see it's just dead. I mean, it's just like cloth without any texture. So there it is, right there. Now, look at how it got the wrinkles, it got everything. Now, texture alone, you cannot use color range on the entire face. You had to have this as the foundation. Do you understand? Just have patience. I have patience. Look at how many texture layers it took me to grab it, meaning the realistic stuff on his face. Same thing with the hair, except the hair was pretty easy, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So now there's the mouth, there's the eyes, and now let's do the hair. So how did I do the hair? Okay, the hair was a little bit different. A little bit different. I clicked over to here, and then I looked at which, it's going to be a little bit hard to understand, but I actually see this, let me move this over. I looked at the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel. Now it looked like to me that the green channel had the best contrasts for the hair. So this is what I did. I actually went in and I duplicated it. So I picked up the green channel and dropped it over here. Now I have another green channel. I hit Command L. And look at in Command L how I can actually make this totally work. Whoops. You know what? Brian still had a selection active. That's why this didn't work. So I realized when levels didn't work, something was weird, and what was weird was I forgot to Command D or Control D to deselect. Okay, that's, hopefully you don't laugh at me, but I'm laughing at myself for the both of us. So now let's raise the white up. Let's raise the black up. Now, my intention on this is to get a reasonable amount of hair. But, and here's the thing, you have to realize that white is going to be the selection. Okay, so right now the hair is dark, correct? So this is what I did. I turned this channel right there, which is the same channel I just got for you right there. I'll even hit Command L again and I'll make it brighter. There, see how I made that brighter? And I'll make it darker. Whoops, I didn't grab it. There, right there. Now, that matches, let me put this up here so I don't have to keep on going down. Just be patient. Okay, let me put it right there. So now that matches that, right? Pretty darn close, right? So now I turn that into this. Well, how did I do that? I took my paintbrush and I made it large. I right-hand clicked and made it halfway hard. I now am painting in white, so I hit the X key. You see how I can, whoops, I need to put this at 100%. Now I need to paint out what I don't want. And what I don't want is anything else that doesn't have to do with hair. I want all of this gone. Remember, you're not you're not destroying an image. I want the hair off of his eyelashes. Okay, so let me back off on this in this tone. Let's come in here. Let's now fill all this up in white. Okay, there is exactly how I did his hair. That didn't take long now, did it? It really honestly didn't, did it? But what do you do, Brian? Well, you hit Command or Control I, not Shift I, to invert it. There's his hair. I mean, that's as simple as I can tell you. Now, if I make a selection, and I have to say this, and I know I probably said it before, if you have this on a layer and you make a selection on a layer, it's just going to grab the whole rectangle. But a channel is amazing. A channel, when you make a selection from a channel, and I'm Command or Control clicking it right now, it actually understands the intensity of the white versus the gray versus the black. So it's going to be that sensitive when I go repaint it. Gosh, I hope you understood that. So now let me go back over here and click to the RGB image. Now, let me turn this off. I mean, he's got no hair, right? So I'm going to turn off the hair. Now, let me make 2 or 3 new hair layers. Let me grab, by turning on the color, let me hit the B key, and I'm going to grab this color of this hair right here. Now, let me back off on it in magnification. Turn off the clicky copy. Hit Command what to hide the selection. Okay, now really all I have to do is Option Delete. Whoops, clicked on the wrong layer. Layer 27 is going to be hair number 1. Now watch this. Option Delete, boom, there's his hair. I know, it's weird, huh? Now I didn't grab the right color of brown, so I'm going to Command Z back. Let's go in here and make it more of a black brown, like this. Right about that. Now, let's go like this again. Watch this, boom. Oh my gosh. Now to get a little bit more dark, I'm going to click up to this layer and I'm going to say hair dark. Now would you please remember, please remember that I have the selection active. But I hit Command H, now I'm hitting Command H again. So I want to intensify. I want to grab a little bit of the black off his eyelashes. And whoa. I do not want to paint at 100%. That would be stupid. So what do I put the flow at? Please tell me. 8, right? Okay, that's good. I right-hand clicked. What should the hardness be? Exactly, 0. Now look at how I can go in and darken some of this hair as it goes onto and gets into the body. And now look at how beautiful this is. Without the texture, I'm going to turn it off, without the texture on the face that I showed you, and you should watch this a few times, and without this amazing channel, remember I turned this channel into this channel by just painting white, right? Then I hit Command or Control I to invert it into that. Then I use that to turn it into this. Isn't that amazing? I mean, okay, wow. Pretty cool. Now, let me turn off the little guy here. And this is basically what you need to see. This was it. Now, let me turn on the neck or the shirt. The shirt is pretty simple. Okay, there's the shirt and there's my background. And I do have some fuzzinesses on this one that I'm not going to go in and fix. I should actually Gaussian blur the shirt by 1. Okay, and see that leftover skin stuff that's right there? What I absolutely need to do with that is to, I should probably do it anyway. Okay, so what I need to do to that is go into the shirt layer, and which is why it's on the bottom, put another layer in there. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to command click the shirt. Because I want you to see how I'm going to get rid of that. And there's a couple of ways I can get rid of that. I'm going to go up to select, modify, expand, and expand it by 2 pixels. So now the selection is bigger than it was. Now I'm going to hit Command H to hide the selection, grab this dark right there, and watch what I do. I'm going to go in and paint it darker. Now, what I also need to do is to go in and reduce the amount of paint that is in the face. This one right there. Okay, so that's what I need to do. That one has too wide of an edge. Let me get close and show you what I'm talking about. See how this one has the edge on it and I want to take it away? So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to command click that, select, modify, contract by 2 pixels. Now I'm going to, and hopefully I don't confuse you, but I should have added a layer mask to this. Okay, so I'm going to deselect and do the whole thing over again. So I'm selecting the face layer and adding a layer mask. I want to remove 2 pixels of paint. How do you do that? I can command click the layer to turn it into a selection. I can go to modify and contract it by 2 pixels. Now I can go to select, modify feather by 1 pixel. I always go feather half of what I contracted or expanded. Now I inverse it. So I'm painting on the outside, right? Now I hit Command H. Now I want you to see something pretty cool. If I paint black on this mask, do you see it going in right there? Look at right there, I'm pointing at it. I'm actually, and I don't want to use this word, but I'm erasing some of the paint, but I'm not erasing it. I'm doing it properly with a layer mask. And now I've gotten rid of that horrible edge that was on there, and it works. It works beautifully. Now, let me go in. I should have made this a lot stronger than 8. But now, and I have some oversprays on this right there that I should actually clip. So these, all of these here, right there, they should have been clipped to the face. And it's because I removed a lot of the stuff on there. Let me see what I'm doing here. Okay, I've got to see what I did. All right, all of those have to be clipped to the face. So these nose fix layers could go on the top. I gotta fix a couple things before I show you. So I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna move this nose fix thing up to the top. Okay, that's good. Now I'm gonna take oh, that's the texture. Oh, Brian. Okay, I should have closed the texture. And the nose is up on the top. Okay. I need this all to be clipped to here. So I'm going to hold the Option key and I'm going to clip, clip, clip. And I think the problem is that these 4 layers aren't in my face folder. So I need to put them in my face folder. How do I do that? I pick them up like this and they go right into my face folder. Let me Z back and show you. Let me unclip them and show you. I could tell because I couldn't clip them. Okay, so these 4 layers should have been in the folder. Now they didn't go in yet. Watch how I put them up there and now they went in. You see how that went in? Now if I Option click between the layers, you can see how, watch the overspray, that all the overspray will go away as I'm doing this, all of it. It just might take me quite a while to get through this, but as let me just redo it. Okay, and here, and here, and here, and let me just clip it. Okay, it's cleaning up now. Everything is looking good, and I am happy with everything right there. One more. Final darks. There it is. I've clipped every one of these layers. Now, do you see any overspray on the side of the face? The answer is no. Now, I think I did a pretty good job in only 3 movies to show you subtleties, to show you how to color range texture, to show you how to isolate the areas that you needed to color range before you actually go up to select color range. And remember that you always have to click to the layer that you want to color range. In this case, it would be the clicky copy. So, hope you've enjoyed this. I would like to have you let me know if when you submit your file, and it might be after the semester is over, you can submit it to share, and I'll send out the email how you share your file with my email address. Okay? So I'll talk to you guys later, and I hope you've enjoyed this movie.